Donald Trump was having a psychotic meltdown all last night. Up until midnight, he was making post after post. He made about 100 posts. He was posting things like this. Federal Reserve working paper suggests Biden illegal immigrant wave drove up home prices 30% because Donald Trump failed to deliver on his promise and defrauded the American people and made housing less affordable. He's now blaming it on illegal immigrants and former President Biden. He's posting weird AI images and other images of himself kissing flags, AI images of the White House with a Confederate eagle on it that looks like an eagle in Nazi Germany. He's posting weird photos of himself with Santa Claus behind him and Macaulay Culkin. He's posting weird photos of the, he wants Corinthian columns at the White House. And so he keeps posting Corinthian columns. And by the way, they are ripping apart the columns at the White House as we speak and replacing them with Corinthian columns. He's posting weird black and white photos of someone he's claiming to be his uncle, Dr. John G. Trump of MIT. He's making posts saying that the crowd at 7:05 over the weekend on July 4th was 422,000 people. You didn't see him. It looked like it was in the low thousands, but Donald Trump claims it's 422,000 people, and all were forced to leave because of the weather, and the event was canceled, and everyone was gone because of the lightning, and it was so unfair. And I immediately overturned the decision, and I said, no, we're going to give this speech. We're going to do it. So then at least 150,000 people returned and watched me give the speech. I guess we should just ignore, Donald, what we saw where there were all of those empty chairs. It looked like you spoke in front of, I don't know, 1,000, maybe a few thousand people max. And then you did that bizarre fireworks show where you couldn't even see the fireworks because you blew up all the fireworks at once and all you can see is smoke. And then that resulted in the worst air quality, I might add, in all of planet Earth yesterday in Washington, D.C. I'll show you this horrifically misogynistic and disgusting post he makes about Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, who he continues to harass. You know, Meloni's a far-right politician in Italy, so you would think that they would get along, but Donald Trump hates women. He hates powerful women. He hates NATO. He hates countries that were traditionally allied with the United States. So now Donald Trump is posting photos saying restraining order needed, as though Giorgia Meloni wants him so badly that she's stalking him. Thus, he needs a restraining order against her. Donald Trump, a sexual predator, a sexual deviant, adjudicated as such in a civil case here in the United States, which the Supreme Court ruled against him and did not take up his appeal. Donald Trump, separately a felon. Let's be clear. This guy is a felon. He is a criminal. He was found criminally liable for fraud in a fraud case, civilly liable for fraud. And that's what he's posting about Giorgia Meloni. And then he's posting this about former President Obama. He takes the Air Force One and then the old Air Force One, not the Qatari one that he flies around in, because he thinks real patriotism is flying around in a Qatari Air Force One. And then he posts a photo of Obama and Michelle Obama. And then he does this AI image with graffiti on it and says, yes, we can. Black Lives Matter. Obama. And then he has like Islamic text on the bottom. Like, what are you doing, man? You're such a fool. Like, you so embarrass our nation every day with behavior like that. What's the point? Can you not stand on your own merit? No, you can't, because you have none. Can you not stand and maybe, I don't know, try to actually give real data and talk about what people are experiencing right now? Because let me tell you what they're experiencing right now. People are suffering in this country, psychologically tortured by the actions of your regime. Your tariffs against the world have increased inflation. People can't afford groceries. They can't afford gas. They see that the rich are getting richer. You and your oligarch friends are looting and pillaging while they're suffering right now. You're getting in never-ending wars right now. You have turned America into a laughingstock. People can't afford the rent. They sure as hell can't afford a home. You're ripping away health care from them. And this is your behavior. This is what you're posting posting weird images, the Trump family, 1915, Fred Trump, Friedrich Trump, Elizabeth. Why are you posting this? The Trump family, 1915. And then your father, who got a serious Alzheimer's diagnosis around the time when he was your age and behaved pretty much the way you're behaving right now, which I see definite parallels with. My father and mentor, Fred C. Trump, posting weird images of himself, arm wrestling Hulk Hogan, posting weird images of Melania Trump with a hat and Hillary Clinton with a hat, obsessed. Weird AI, creepy images of himself pointing at planes, posting an AI billboard that says, if no one goes to jail for election fraud, what incentive is there not to cheat? Are you telling on yourself there? Are you telling on yourself as the cheater? Because I'll tell you what, there has not been, I mean, if you want to go talk about widespread prosecutions of election fraud, go point them out to me. All I see is that you trying to rig elections. I see you sending your agents and your co-conspirators to try to overturn free and fair elections. So perhaps you're talking about yourself there. Weird videos he's posting of Mike Tyson. What else is he posting? He posts this of Flo Balogun, the American player on the FIFA team, on the U.S. World Team, Flo Balogun, who got the red card in the last game, and thus he was banned from playing in this game. But apparently Donald Trump and Howard Lutnick and others in the Trump regime called the head of FIFA, and who gave Donald Trump the Peace Prize, and then basically told him you have to overturn it. And then they overturned a red card. Now, look, do I want to see Flo Balogun play? Do I want to see the United States win? I do. But should Donald Trump have made the phone call and interfered with a decision that's never happened in the history of FIFA, basically going back to like overturning a red card like that? It's like never happened before. And now the rest of the world in Europe and FIFA, everyone's like, well, now you've just delegitimized. Like, the FIFA was great. Like it was bringing people together. We didn't have to deal with Trump in it. It was great to have people from other countries here and see some of the states that Donald Trump rails against, right? People were loving Los Angeles and Seattle and seeing American cities across the country. And then Donald Trump, does this. And again, I want to see Balogun play. I thought it was a bad call that he got the red card to begin with personally. As David Rich says, though, if this stunt had been pulled by one of the military dictatorships that hosted the World Cup in the past, we'd still be talking about it decades later with astonishment that it can never have happened. And Trump goes, thank you, FIFA, for doing what was right and reversing a great injustice. Donald J. Trump, USA. FIFA has suspended and reversed the automatic one-match ban for USMNT striker Flo Balogun after his red card against Bosnia and Herzegovina. He is now eligible to play in the game tonight. And again, on one hand, I'm happy he's playing tonight. On the other hand, the fact that Donald Trump called and interfered with the games, is I clearly understand why Europe and the rest of the world is absolutely livid at that decision. And then, there are some people saying, well, that didn't actually make the decision. It's Rule 27, Article 27. It was an independent decision by the board. Come on. We know what happened. He called up. He told Infantino, who gave him the Peace Prize, and they went to the board, and whatever the board was. Same way he has a board of peace. They got the disciplinary board. It's BS, and they got the thing overturned. Meanwhile, while Donald Trump is posting that, a former beauty queen who said that Donald Trump groped her at a 1993 pageant has leveled new claims against Donald Trump's first wife, Ivana. alleging Ivana Trump helped funnel young women into Jeffrey Epstein's orbit. Beatrice Kuhl, who's now 55, a former Miss Switzerland and Miss Europe contestant, told the Daily Beast new Punch-Up Substack that she believes Ivana, Trump's first wife, who, by the way, she was very close with Ghislaine, they were like best friends, acted as a madam-style figure in Epstein's social world on par with his convicted co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. In the final part of a three-part interview, Kuhl said she believes Ivana played a major role in this whole cosmos, bringing in women in the same way as Maxwell. They said, well, she's from Czechoslovakia. I've done a lot of, and again, the Trump regime denies that, obviously. You are aware that Ivana in depositions accused Donald Trump of raping her and then issued a retraction and said, I didn't mean like a literal rape and don't misconstrue my words. And because someone was writing a book about it. And then she said, she like kind of issued a retraction after saying it, in the deposition. And, you can go and read that. You can go and read that passage. I've read that passage before. Also, she divorced him after he was having an affair with Marla Maples. And then she died under mysterious circumstances, like in 2022. She allegedly fell down stairs. And then it was like the whole bizarre funeral. And then she got buried in the back lot of Bedminster and the whole thing. More posts from Donald Trump of tearing down or altering the columns at the White House. More posts of the reflecting pool. By the way, hat tip to Amanda Moore. She's done such an incredible work. Amanda Moore has. This is what the firework cleanup at the Lincoln Memorial. The reflecting pool was green again, algae infested and green. Take a look for yourself, as they had to now do cleanup at the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool with all of the algae in it. Here, play this clip right here. I do want to point this out. French president candidate Jean-Luc Mélenchon said the following about Iran and Israel. He's one of the French presidential candidates because in the upcoming election. This is what he says. Is Iran a threat to the world? No, I don't believe that for a second. The illegal attack on Iran produced a strengthening of the regime, which now enjoys absolutely unprecedented prestige in the world because Iran defeated both Netanyahu and Trump. It was a very bad service that both of them rendered to the universal humanity. Today, it is Netanyahu who does not respect peace, massacring the Lebanese en masse and continuing to kill Palestinians en masse. The principal source of disorder and war is the government of Mr. Netanyahu, with fascists in power, and the fact that this country is nuclear armed without anyone ever holding it to account. I find all of this very dangerous. He goes on to say the following about Macron meeting with Trump at Versailles. This man attacked a country, Iran, in a legal war with an associate, Mr. Netanyahu, who invades all of his neighbors. After he imposed on us 5% of our GDP to buy American weapons and tariffs that are unbearable, and which the European Union accepted with its usual spinelessness. Come down to earth, my friend. You really think going to Versailles is enough to stop a war? It's the opposite. When you go to Versailles, you generally start wars. And then French presidential candidate Jean-Luc Mélenchon also said the following about U.S. and French relations. Fundamentally, non-alignment and independence. Every domain in which we are in their hands, we must get out of. I'm thinking particularly of digital data storage and artificial intelligence. In 250 years of history, 226 years of war, that doesn't exactly inspire my sympathy. They stole half the territory of Mexico. For those who still have any doubt that we need a cautious and distant friendship with them, go watch Antonin Baudry's film. You'll see how the United States intended to occupy us and replace our currency. Meanwhile, Israeli forces continued military operations across southern Lebanon this weekend in violation of the MOU between the United States and Iran in the Nadbita area. In the Nabatea area, Israeli warplanes struck residential buildings. while Israeli forces demolished multiple buildings in Kfar Timnet. Elsewhere, artillery, tank fire, helicopter, gunfire, drones, and quadcopters were reported across Bin Shabil, Tyre, or Sur, and the Marjan districts. Israeli forces also carried out repeated demolitions in Deir Surim, Tyre, Kaunin, Hadatha, and Bin Shabil, while drones dropped grenades near Hadatha, Mansouri, and surrounding villages. Fires were reported in several locations following shellings and demolitions, and you can see right here for yourself some of the photos. Meanwhile, Iran's ambassador to China reiterated Tehran's plans to introduce new service fees for ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz once the current 60-day fee-free period expires, but would offer special treatment to countries it considers friendly, like China. Tune back in about 90 minutes. I'm going to do a whole other video on the Ayatollah's funeral. I did one yesterday, but I'm going to do another one today and show you how the funeral continues to grow and how it's really terrifying Donald Trump as well, the size and scope of that funeral. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 7 million subscribers. We appreciate you so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.